And we are hot. There's my cinnamon leaf oil.
Uh-huh.
You didn't tell me
Oh,
I left it last week.
yep.
Mosquitoes are killing.
All right.
Cinnamon oil, huh?
Cinnamon leaf oil seems to work pretty darn well for chasing off the skeeters. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Shiftless. We are doing the technology thing. Thank gosh we have Brad on board to keep our technology stuff straight. We would be so in the hole without him. But when we do the remote dial-in, which hint means we probably have an interview going, for whatever reason our soundboard doesn't work. So we have no intro music, so Brad's going to sing the Star Spangled Banner for us at this time. And no, probably not. So welcome to Shiftless number 117. This was Mr. Green or Chef Green's idea. He was on board with a pretty cool guest, so I'm going to let him introduce our guest for us. Take it away, Bradford.
Man, I'm super excited to talk to this guy. It's a friend of a friend, I guess I'll say. But Mr. Eric House out of the Houston area, who has done some incredible things on a bicycle, and even more for my heart, single speed. So super stoked to talk to you, Eric. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, and thanks, shout out Shannon for hooking us up.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
What
Clean.
what a great guy.
Truly, yeah,
Yeah,
such a
Well,
gem.
yeah.
Eric and I were going over while we were waiting for Brad to iron out our technical difficulties that I put us into. Eric and I were trying to go over when I first met Shannon, and I want to say it was around 2005, 2006, but I couldn't remember how it exactly instigated. I think it was through Dirt Dogs. Do you have any idea, Bradford?
Man, I don't know. I just know that I met that guy like 6 times before he remembered who I was. Like to the point where it hurt my feelings.
Yeah, that's how you know he's a cool guy.
I definitely remember that he was living somewhat nearby me, and somehow or another we started meeting up and doing rides together. At the time, we were kind of in the same boat as far as general age, general ability, general stubbornness, and
Mhm.
we did a good job of feeding each other for a while. And then he surpassed me in all levels and capabilities by a very wide margin, and he hasn't looked back since.
Yeah, I had a picture of or on my memories came up yesterday. I think it was like 8 years ago when we went on a ride and rode Wade Road and then into Bolivar and had barbecue, and you were on that ride and Shannon was on that ride and Mike Smith
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah,
That was a good day.
yeah.
Sounds like a good
So
day.
yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, I
So we
mean, anytime you ride Wade Road, it's a good day.
yeah.
But enough about us. We have a guest, Brad,
Yes.
and I think he's accomplished a little bit more than Wade Road lately.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So
Oh
I
well.
don't even know how to get into this. I have 100 questions, but so you just finished Silk Road, which
Yep,
is in, and I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, but Turkestan,
it's in Kyrgyzstan. Yeah,
Kyrgyzstan,
yeah.
Kyrgyzstan.
And where is
So
Kyrgyzstan?
So it borders China, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan. It's landlocked northern central China, Asia, rather.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's like this beautiful region that's like 95% mountains.
it's
So,
it sounds like a logistical nightmare.
oh, I couldn't imagine putting this event together. Nelson, the
Yeah.
guy at Nelson Trees who puts it together, he actually lives out there right now. But yeah, I mean, trying to connect all these mountains, roads, you know, downhill, gravel, uh, river crossings. Yeah, he put some work into those things for sure.
Yeah, it's insane. And just seeing, I mean, pictures never do it justice, but
Mm.
seeing the pictures is just like it just looks amazing everywhere you look almost.
Oh yeah,
What
yeah.
what
It's
about what about your logistics on it? I mean, what is it like? a direct flight from Houston to there, or
Well, no, I was in Berlin when I flew out. I did some touring over the summer in Europe and flew from Berlin to the capital, Bishkek, and
oh
then
yeah,
from
know it well.
yeah, yeah, it's this tiny
Second home.
airport. I think I went Berlin to Turkey to Bishkek, Bishkek to this town called Osh on, this tiny plane where as soon as you land, everybody starts clapping, like they used to do,
Yeah, yeah.
just because we landed. Um, and then, yeah, started out in Osh, which I think is the second largest city in Kyrgyzstan.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
What would be the largest? Any idea?
Bishkek. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Bishkek, the
okay. I
capital.
got you, got
Hmm.
you, got you. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
After that, I think yeah, I don't even know what the next. Whew. Yeah, everything else is pretty tiny after that.
so, like I said, I have so many questions, but you you said that you were already in Berlin and then went to Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah, yeah. I spent about 3 months bike packing across Europe, uh, with my final destination being Silk Road.
Okay, well that answers some of my questions. I was wondering like what does the on-ramp for this event look like
Mm.
in order to give yourself a chance to be competitive? And I guess training right up until you're there probably is a decent plan.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really started focusing and training on long distance stuff about this time last year with Arkansas High Country.
Yeah.
And that kind of launched this. I lost my job about a year ago, a little over a year ago now, and went full into off-road mountain biking, um, ultra cycling.
Are we supposed to say sorry here, or are we supposed to say
No,
congratulations?
yes, this is definitely a congratulations thing.
Yeah.
Um, it completely changed my life. And although I don't make any money, or through sponsors, I make very little money. Uh, I'm at least doing something that I'm passionate about and I love. So, and I get to
Well, it
travel.
looks like yeah, and it looks like you have a roof over your head, and I'm guessing you have electricity, and it looks like you have more than 2 or 3 bikes to choose from. So, I I think you might be okay.
I'm doing all right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to pick up some more sponsors for next year, but um yeah, I'm making it work
Yeah.
currently. And
Living the dream.
I've got a good support system with my sponsors, friends, bike shop. Yeah, lots of love
Yeah.
around me.
And I see your shirt, Race Ready Repair. Good
Oh yeah,
guys.
great guys
Yeah.
over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they prepped. This is the bike I rode, the Chumba back here. Um
Yeah.
they prepped it with a week. Um yeah, I think I passed the frame over to them in about a week. They threw it all together. Um, yeah, kind of a cluster cuss right there, but got it going. Saturday night is when I picked it up and flew out on Sunday in back in May.
Oh,
Isn't that
so
like
you
breaking the most fundamental rule of
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and
I
and, and heads up, you are allowed to say four-letter words on here. It's
Oh,
okay.
great. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, no, I picked up this frame, got signed on with Chumba earlier this year. Chumba out of Austin, doing steel and tie. This amazing Sendero steel, and picked up the
well,
frame on a Saturday. Took it to the shop, and they threw it together in about a week. And I had never ridden the bike until I got to Europe.
wow. Well, you've been out of the country for a little bit. A lot has happened. Chumba's no longer in Austin.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
they've moved.
Kansas City, I believe.
Yeah,
And Richmond, or is it two headquarters, or is it just different
I don't
locations for different
I'm
people?
I'm not entirely certain.
yeah, yeah. I think
So
it's different locations for different people.
so you took all of your equipment intended to tour Europe and roll over into Silk Road when you left out in May for a race that was going to take place in August. Is that correct?
Yeah, yep.
And you're on a single speed, so do you carry any gears with you, or do you just go, "Ah, this is the gear I think I need"?
Well, in hindsight, when I go back next summer, it's gonna be this is the gear. Because I
Yeah.
carried around for all the way from Greece to Norway and back. I carried, I think 17 through 21 in my
Uh-huh.
bag, with a chain whip and tools.
That's
Didn't
a
use them.
lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to carry.
Yeah, yeah, essentially a whole cassette that I just left in my
Yeah.
saddlebag.
So what gear did you end up settling on?
I 3218 was my golden gear.
Yeah.
I think I've ran that for just about every race this year.
That's a pretty solid gear. Yeah.
Yeah,
And are you oval or are you round?
oval. Yep.
Oval. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
absolute black in the front and back. So they've got the narrow wide, keeps the chain
yeah.
on nice and tight.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay. Um so that was part of my thought process or questions I want to ask you, like how do you on ramp to something like this? But it sounds like it started obviously, over a year ago. But like what kind of equipment do you have to carry for something like this that you wouldn't have to do for something necessarily stateside? Like I'm assuming because it's self-supported,
Oh
and
yeah.
your touring was self-supported obviously as well. So are you carrying a cook system and a water filtration and shelter and walk us through some of that if you will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So and I had two modes, so race mode and tour mode for my bike.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tour mode, it weighed roughly 50, 55, 60, somewhere in there, depending
Uh-huh.
on the stuff I pick up along the way and how much food I'm carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I sleep set. I just brought a bivy, sleeping bag, sleeping sheet. So no tent. Um, I picked up a tarp along the way from this other bike packer I met in France. He was like headed to Indonesia, and he's like, "I don't need this tarp." And I was like, "All right, cool, yeah, I'll throw it in there." So picked up some random gear along the way, uh, and then race mode. My bike's probably 15 to 20 pounds lighter. Same sleep set, uh, but minus all of the. I brought like a pair of pants, a couple of pairs of shorts that I just didn't need during a race.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Cooks.
still 15 pounds is a lot to shed.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't
Hmm.
carry the tools with me. The extra,
Extra
essentially.
gears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That wouldn't be. I don't think that's part of the race. Single speed mentality. Like, oh, you know what? I'm
No.
about to climb a hill, so let me throw on a 22 here.
Yeah.
So what did a touring day look for yours, or several days in a row? What was your touring methodology, setup, uh,
Yeah,
thought process?
yeah. I had a lot of time. So the first race I did was in Greece. That's where I landed from the States. Um, Landed in Athens. Spent a day there. Camped out in a sketchy park. Took a train north about 4 or 5 hours, and then had the bike built up, and rode about 100 miles to the race start. And that was sort of my shakeout ride, to make sure I'd never ridden it anywhere. So uh, fully loaded. So it was, yeah, about 50 pounds at that point. Um, yeah, I just kind of, for that one, I took my time. I had a couple of days to get there. So I think it took me 2 days to do the 100. Um, Felt the bike. It's my previous bike was a Karate Monkey, so similar geo, different steel. So that was interesting getting used to sort of a more um, nimble frame, especially being weighed down like that. So that was a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, yeah, I didn't bring a cook set because I figured I just have cold meals or go out to eat if I could. Uh, and luckily, during the race or the races, and even touring, like people are looking at you like, "What are you doing? You want to come inside and come eat?" So I got a lot of free food throughout the way. I tried to do this trip as cheap as possible, not having a job, uh,
Yeah.
and it seemed to work out for me pretty well.
Very cool. I can't imagine just being in that area and just getting brought into people's homes for food. That's my love language, but,
Mm.
um, I I have equipment questions too, like
Yeah, throw them at
tires.
me.
What tires did you run, and did you go through sets of tires, and then what is sourcing equipment when you're abroad look like as well, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So it was actually kind of difficult at times. There's tons of bike shops around, but typically with gear, you don't need it until you need it, right?
Right.
So I flew over with Pirelli Scorpion 2.4s,
Mhm.
tubeless setup. I've got some carbon wheels that are uh, I got from K-Lite slash Revolution. They came out with these
Mhm.
carbon Kevlar wheels a while back. Um, no issues with the tires up until Silk Road, which we can get into in a bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, after riding, oh man, I don't even know how many, couple thousand miles, I ordered some new pedals, new chain, and one new tire when I made it to Berlin just before Kyrgyzstan. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it was in Berlin. Had a new bottom bracket installed about maybe 300 or 400 miles before Kyrgyzstan. Um, Aside from that, yeah, everything else was pretty all right. Yeah.
So, when you say you ordered stuff, you went to a local bike shop and then stayed local until it came in, or
Yeah.
how
Yes.
okay.
So I stayed in Copenhagen for a couple of weeks on and off.
Mhm.
Is kind of a good hub to get into Sweden and Norway, and then popped over to London for a little bit, and then finally down to Berlin. But I had a friend he works at a bike shop there, so he replaced the bottom bracket, fixed my dynamo. It kind of got fucked up in my grease race. Uh,
Yeah.
he had to like resolder the wires and stuff like that.
Is
Um,
this a Son?
no, it's a SP.
Shutter Precision?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, good hub. I just put a ton of miles on it and really pushed my bike hard during the Hellenic grease race.
Yeah.
Lots of hike a bike in these mountain races. Um
Yeah.
I mean they're called mountain races for a reason. They're not called mountain bike races. So, uh lots of pushing.
Well, there's probably plenty of hike a bike already, but I feel like some of it's self-induced because 'cause you're running single speed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, especially with Hellenic where it was oh man, what was it? 800 miles with 200,000 feet, something like that of elevation.
That those numbers don't even make sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Ah.
yeah, that race, so in Greece you're essentially you're climbing a mountain, you descend a mountain into a small town, you get a coffee, and then you do that on repeat until the race is
Uh,
over.
so it's just hill repeats.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So so 800 miles, 200,000 feet of climbing. What what kind of a time frame? How did you finish, and did you feel good about it? Like, what was your time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt really good about my time. I think it was like 5 days or 7 days, something like that. God, it feels like a lifetime ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I finished in the top 50, which
Yeah.
was really cool. I did a race in Morocco earlier this year with like 250, 300 people, something like that. And I finished top 100. So to knock that in half essentially with the same amount of people uh,
Yeah.
was awesome.
I would imagine a race like that, though, the attrition rate's very high with
It's insane.
200,000 feet of climbing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nelson, I think he shoots for like 50% attrition.
Yeah.
Sometimes it, gets up to 60,
Yeah.
which I think says a lot about those races. It's not for the
Yeah.
faint of heart for sure.
Yeah. And if it was, I think a guy like you wouldn't be there.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, I think there's a certain kind of event that guys like you and I feel like me don't show up for except for maybe one time and then they go, this is not what I wanted to do. I need something that's a lot more challenging. I need way more type 2 fun, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm definitely on the verge of definitely top 2 or tier 2, maybe like some 3 fun there that just you look back and you're like, "Why the fuck did I do that?" Jeez,
yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff like, if we're having fun in the moment, it's not always fun later. I'm
Mhm.
the kind of guy like I like to question whether is this fun? Are we having fun?
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah, go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
it, it's fair to say that there's not any real mountain training near your house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Um
Houston's pretty flat. So was this mountain training once you got over there, or do stuff around here to get you ready for 200,000 feet or whatever the hell it
Yeah.
was?
Yeah, I do a lot of run training. I think that's pretty essential for single speeders generally, because single speed has 3 gears, right? And one of those gears is just walking your ass off. Um,
Mhm.
and the other one's standing, which is essentially just running, with
Yeah.
wheels. Uh, so yeah, I run several times a week. And then out in Houston, our we don't have the best mountain bike trails, so you can't get a lot of mountain biking in. So do some road riding on my gravel bike, and that's kind of good for cardio and all that other stuff. But lots of running, yeah.
Hmm.
And this past year, I spent I did maybe 4, 5, 6, something like that, ultra races in the States, with, similar elevation. Well, not similar to Greece, but, sort of um, that 1 to 100, 100 feet per
Okay,
mile kind of thing.
Yeah. I
gotcha.
mean, Arkansas high country is definitely in that realm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did one called Stagecoach in California,
Mhm.
and that one
Yeah.
was super mountainous. Um, and then I did another one in California, called, Bike Pack the Bay, and that goes around San Francisco into Marin County and all of that. So it's just, at the end of it, I renamed it Hike the Bay because it was just all walking for me.
So
Yeah.
what's the Europe, for lack of a better term, market for these type of events versus the United States? Is it bigger over there? Is it bigger over here? Are they about the same?
Yeah, yeah, I was reflecting on this afterwards because there's such a different vibe, I think, with the US races versus the Euro races. Euro races tend to be a little better put together. You've got more support, initially and then afterwards. And then the media with a lot of these races, they kind of put a heavy focus on that. So like Silk Road and Hellenic, they both had, I think, 3 media cars traveling around, shooting photos and stuff. Um, with that, I think I said they're a lot more expensive. You go do Tour Divide, and although ride, I haven't done it yet, but riding Tour Divide's expensive, but there's no entry fee, right?
Right.
Uh, same with, like Stagecoach, or you do Doom or Arkansas High Country. It's affordable,
Yeah.
which I think
So
is the difference.
so what tell us about Silk Road, like, for somebody that knows nothing. Like, A, what's the entry fee? And how many entrants were there? And what the distance and kind of format is, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a, let's see, I think it was like $300 or $400,
Mhm.
US. Uh, it's a checkpoint race. So unlike,
Mhm.
Tour Divide where you're just riding it, you've got a tracker and that's about it. With the mountain races and some of the other European races, you have checkpoints where, you need to get to a certain spot by a certain time or you get eliminated.
Yeah.
Um, and then at these spots, they have, uh, food to buy, places to sleep. Um, Not supported because you still have to purchase everything, but it's at
Mhm.
least like, a spot that everybody can kind of meet up at and have at
Mhm.
least something there. So both of these had 3 checkpoints. Silk Road was what is it in miles? I think 1,200 miles with something like 90 or 100,000 feet of elevation.
That's
Um,
nothing.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, lots of like sustained climbs, which
Yeah,
from a single speeder's perspective, if you can keep it, with my gear ratio around that 7% grade, like cool, I
yeah,
can I can climb for, quite some time. The second you pop up to 8, I'm walking for the next, 10 miles.
yeah, yeah. So that brings me another question. Are you running a computer? And if so, are you running heart rate? Are you paying attention to metrics? Are you running power or anything like that?
No, no, I do have a computer. I've got a Garmin. That I really, when I race, I just keep the map on there just so I'm going the
Yeah,
right direction. As far
yeah.
as heart rate and power, uh, can't afford a power meter, so I don't have one.
Mhm.
Heart rate monitors, they tend to itch, and I really don't care
Uh-huh.
about that data too much.
That's
Uh,
fair.
I've gotten into a good habit of just listening to my body.
Mhm.
You start feeling a little hungry, eat. You start
Yeah.
feeling a little tired, go to sleep. You
Yeah.
start getting pissed off at the world, you probably need to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I
Uh
keep it pretty analog.
Speaking of, I'm assuming you're not on Strava as well.
Uh, yes and no. This summer kind of changed Strava for me because my Garmin wasn't quite saving all of my rides. So
Mhm.
I was like, fuck it. If a ride uploads, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, 'cause I was looking for you on Strava and I couldn't find you. So,
I'm on there. I've got kind of a weird name. It's a picture of a house and then the word house.
oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. That would explain why I didn't find you.
Yeah,
Um, so back to Silk Road, you said it's 1,200 miles, 90,000 feet of climbing. How long did that take? And was this one of the harder races you've done? Or give us a
yeah.
little bit of the post-ride digestion of that.
Yeah, and to be totally honest, I'm still trying to process the whole thing. That's how massive it feels
Yeah,
in my brain.
I can
Even though
only
it's
imagine.
it's only been a couple of weeks, but it took me a lot longer than I wanted. I'll tell you that. It took me just under 14 days. I think it was like 13 days and 20 some odd hours.
Mhm.
I was really hoping to finish in about 11 or 12 days. But I had some pretty major mechanicals that slowed me up quite a lot. And being so remote, I mean, you're passing from village to village. The village might just have a magazine or like a little kind of corner store type of thing,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
it. No bike shops, no nothing until you hit some of the bigger cities. Um, and I think there was only 2 big cities that you hit that could potentially have bike shops for, resupply and stuff like that. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So I lost probably a good 48 hours, maybe more in dealing with mechanicals, which was pretty, pretty unfortunate, but, uh, you know, I still finished
Ho
and I'm still happy about it.
how do you deal with that psychologically in the moment, though? Like, you've done all this preparation, and you're in the middle of this thing, and you're trying to be competitive, and you hit this roadblock that has nothing to do with your skills. Like, how do you process that and stay positive through that?
Oh man, I tell you, that's a really good question. It can be tough. Honestly, the best thing is like I've got some massive, you can see them in the back there, some massive frame bags, and I keep
Uh-huh.
tons of snacks in there. That always keeps
Mhm.
me happy.
There
Um,
you go. Yeah.
during Silk Road, I kept either a liter or a liter and a half of like Pepsi, Fanta, Coke on my back rack.
Uh-huh.
So anytime I got a flat or whatever, I just take a big swig out of that and be like, you know what? At least I've got my Pepsi. I can, I've got some food. I'm not too far out. I can walk 30 miles to a small town and get a ride somewhere if I need to. Um, but yeah, it's super frustrating, especially during this race. I had a number of flats, just unbearably amount of flats, and it has nothing to do with the tires. It was just me getting too sendy on some things and um, lots of rocky terrain. But yeah, I think thinking about the end really helps too. Like,
Yeah,
you're halfway done. You've already done the hard half. Now you've got the easy half. I feel like that
right.
always helps. And
Yeah.
I have to say, during this race, I probably scratched mentally in my head like 6 or 7 times just for
Yeah.
mechanicals. I was like, "This is my last mechanical. Fuck. I guess I'll get a ride back to the finish, and that'll be it." And then something comes along where I'm able to, buy a new tube or throw a new patch on there or whatever and keep going.
Wow.
So were
So
all of the mechanicals related to tires and flats, or did you run into other stuff as well?
Yeah, I had so most of them were flats. Like after the first maybe 300K, I had a slow leak. So anytime I was on the road or like a flat gravel section, I'm filling up every, 5 to 10K trying to pump up my tire. Um, I flatted 4 different tubes, and on each of those tubes, I put about 4 different patches on them. Uh,
uh,
yeah. And it's just painful to take the tire off, throw the thing.
yeah,
It's kind of demoralizing to an extent. Um,
especially when your bike's loaded. It
yes.
makes it it makes it even shittier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
And with my rack, I've got an old man mountain rack, so the rack fits through the rear axle. So every
yeah.
time I have to take the tire off, I've got to pop some of the rack off. Um, which it's really easy to do, but it's just that extra step where I'm just like doing this every 50K at this point. I'm like, just get
Ah.
get me out of here. Um, yeah, the
So
only oh yeah, go ahead.
it's I'm sorry. Help me understand. I understand that it's rocky. So
Mhm.
and you got a little sendy. Is everybody having the same tire problems? Is that just like the Flint Hills used to be for the old days of Dirty Conza before we had so
Mm.
many tire options out there? Is everybody running into this, or is this something that had to do with your style of riding, or
I
what?
think it was pretty unique to me. I heard, a few people got flats, but nothing to the extent that I did. And I don't run tubes on any bike, so trying to get used to descending with tubes, uh, not in my wheelhouse. uh, and it's just not
And ti
fun.
tire problems seem to be one of those things that just kind of spin out of control. Like once it
No pun
starts,
intended.
Yep.
yeah. But once it starts and then you're relegated to a tube, there's all kinds of inherent problems that come with that too. Like, did you have a previous thorn, or is
Hmm.
there a hole that could have been sealed that is now vulnerable and the tube's trying to poke through? And I mean, it's all kinds of shit, and it seems to spiral out of control. So,
Yeah,
like,
it
one
becomes a
flat
cascade
begats
effect.
another. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and then, like you said, none of us are used to riding with tubes or jacking with tubes anymore. So it becomes like this you're relearning or at least reassociating, with the tube situation, and then it just becomes it's just one after another, it seems like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Such a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Mm.
And I mean, as far as other mechanicals, um, my saddle broke. I've got one of
Oh,
those
that's always
saddles.
fun.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. I just duct taped it up. It was fine. I've got one of those saddles with the open center,
Mhm.
and there's 2 prongs that kind of sit up to the front, and both of those broke off. Um, It was fine. That wasn't too bad. My dynamo broke again, which is pretty annoying because I always bring a spare light just in case. I like
Mhm.
redundancy in bike packing. Um, but I didn't have my K light just wasn't working because of that, which you know kind of hinders how far or how long I can ride. If I want to ride through the night. I'd say the next worst issue I had was my bottom bracket completely failed on me about 100K from the end. So 60 miles.
It's supreme.
Yep.
Was that lunch or breakfast ready? Uh, yeah, so the last 100K, my cranks are just wobbling back and forth and making some ugly screeching noises. And about the
Ah,
last 5 or 10K, as I'm headed to the finish line, my chain just kept popping off because it was wobbling so bad.
that's what I was just about to ask. Did that not create any chain line
Oh yeah,
issues?
yeah. Luckily, it wasn't
God,
until the very end. Uh, I mean, had that happened halfway through or earlier, I would have been toast because you can't find a
you'd have been
bottom bracket
hosed,
out
yeah.
there.
No, much less bottom bracket tools and
Oh
everything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, God, I can't even imagine, man. So you mentioned a light, um, so that lets me know that you had intended on at least riding either early in the morning or into the night a little bit. What did you have a plan ahead of time of, okay, I'm going to try to ride, 12 hours and sleep for 4 hours and eat for 2 hours or anything of that nature? Or was it once again like no heart rate monitor, no power meter, just go with what feels right?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of went with that whole raw dogging it trend.
Yeah.
I looked at the race route maybe the couple of days before
Uh
just
huh.
to get a good idea of like where are the big towns, where are some good, points of interest or whatever. Aside from that, I didn't do much of anything. Um
Yeah.
my whole philosophy is, ride until you can't and then take care
Yeah.
of yourself in the meantime.
Yeah.
And realistically, I prefer to ride at night, um, especially in a place like Kyrgyzstan where during the day it
Mm,
gets up to, in the 90s.
yeah.
Uh, it's similar to some of the sections there are similar to like Big Bend. If you've ever ridden out
Uh,
there, like
yeah.
very exposed, that hot sun just pouring down on you. Um, so yeah, there were I rode through the night a couple of times um, during that. But yeah, really went into it with zero plan.
I I like that actually, but yeah. So how often were you able to resupply then? Was that not a concern? Because that would be like one of the reasons I would have studied the course maybe more is just like how often can I get water? How often can I get food? And that being said, like how much water did you carry and did you carry a filtration system?
Yeah, so you have to carry a filtration system for these races
Mm-hmm.
as part of, they do like a bike check beforehand. Um,
Yeah.
I ditched mine before the race because because I felt, whatever. There's enough running water out there. There's you're in high mountains, so you've got snow runoff and stuff coming down on you. And I was able to fill up my bottles in natural waters. The uh,
Mm-hmm.
the main concern there, and they actually one of the nicknames for Silk Road is Sick Road, because a lot of people get sick from drinking the water out there. There's cows and yaks and all sorts of animals in the water. I
That's what I
got
was gonna ask.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I think it was pretty stupid of me to not bring one. Um, if and when I do it again, I would probably bring like the little catted in 1 liter thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, didn't get sick through food poisoning or water, which is nice. And like I said, I've got a ton of space on my bike for food, so
Mm-hmm.
I always had baguettes or like different sandwich materials because I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
sandwich is just so nice to have on a trail. Um,
Yes.
and then Snickers and all those other kind of chocolate bars and stuff. Uh, but yeah, there was one. section that I was pretty wary about. There's um it's essentially a 30K hike a bike through this mountainous region where you're cutting across rivers. I think, some people counted up to 30 plus river crossings through this. And
Jeez.
it's majority hike a bike. You can ride your bike for a little bit, but you're about to hit a rocky or a steep section or cross a river. Um, that was the closest I came to running out of food because it took
So,
me 24 hours to get through that.
wow. So
Jeez.
what was your shoe pedal setup?
Oh, that's a good one. So I run Northwave shoes. It's this Italian brand. I've had them for, I guess, maybe 2 years now, and I really like their stuff. Obviously, with any shoe, it's gonna run down after a couple thousand miles. Um, Crank Brothers pedals, and I run the flip flops. Uh oh.
Brad's the most anti-Crank Brothers person in the world.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. Why is that, Brad?
Uh, well, I'm just
He's
they're not
he's more anti-Crank Brothers than I am anti-Garmin.
they're not the most durable pedals. I'm more surprised that that's your choice to go out and do stuff like this, just from a reliability standpoint.
Yeah,
Not that I'm anti Crank Brothers. It's just they don't have the best track record. They do
that's
have
fair.
excellent customer service, probably
Brad,
Oh,
because they're just good at it.
Brad's dwelling on 2010.
oh
It's
yeah.
That's prob
there's been a lot of change in 15
that's
years.
probably true. That's probably true.
Well, I tell you, so I brought a brand new set of pedals to
Mhm.
Europe. Made it about I don't know, somewhere under 3,000 miles on those pedals, and by the time I was done, they were totally fucked. By the
Mhm.
time I made it to Berlin, ordered a new set. I do flip flops, so clip on one side, flat on the other.
Yeah.
Um, and these pedals lasted all of Silk Road. So did the cleats, which kind of surprised me. I always bring an extra pair of Crank Brothers cleats because they use what is it, like bronze or
Brass.
something, brass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just, when you're hiking a lot, they just wear down.
Yeah.
Uh, I've had that issue with the other two mountain races where I'm halfway through and I'm hiking up something. I go to clip in and it just doesn't want to stick because it's been
Yeah.
worn down so much.
So
Yeah.
I assume the shoe's a mountain bike shoe
Yeah,
or
yeah, it's
okay.
it's it's definitely a mountain bike shoe, kind of hybrid hiking shoe. I think the ones I have like a Vibram bottom, or maybe a
Mhm.
Michelin bottom, something like that. So they hold tread pretty well. Definitely not like your typical narrow, pointy gravel shoe,
Right.
and they're much heavier,
So
which I'm okay with. But yeah,
so you said it took you just under 14 days to finish, and that was, like you said, like, probably a solid 24 to 48 hours worth of dealing with mechanicals. Um, and then when did you finish? It was the very beginning of September or the very end of August?
end of August. Yeah,
And end of August. And then did you hang out there for a couple more days, or you
yeah,
were on it?
yeah. So you finish in Karakal, which is
Mhm.
maybe the third largest city uh,
Yeah.
in Kyrgyzstan, and I think I was there for like 1 or 2 nights, and then along with these mountain races, they ship you back to the next big city, so you can catch your flights and everything. So
Uh-huh.
a bunch of us got on a big bus, headed back to Bishkek, and I was there for a couple of nights. Typically with these races, I like to stay as long as possible, but I had to get back to the States. Um,
Yeah.
I had to be in California for a wedding, like 2 days after I got back.
So you're you finish the race and you're there for a couple of days and then you get on the bus and your bottom bracket's still screwed up at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how long this was my other question is like what does the off ramp from a race like this look like for you? Like are you 2 days later, are you like, "God, I really need to spin my legs," or you like, "I don't wanna get back on a bike for a couple of weeks," or what's the thought process for you
Yeah.
specifically?
To be honest, seeing this bike in such disarray behind me, I
Mhm.
I just want to build it back up and get back on it. I've
Yeah.
ridden my bike a few times since I've been back. Um, Done quite a few runs, which helps, kind of flush the legs. But yeah, typically, I mean, after Greece, I hung out in the town that it finished in is called Nafpractos, and it's like this beautiful beach town. Hung out there for 2 days, and then ended up starting my tour across Italy and France uh, a few days later.
Oh, that's amazing.
So was it a culture shock to 2 days later be in California at a wedding, or
Oh man.
is that just normal life for Eric now?
No, I mean it's gonna be normal life for me now. I think I'm gonna keep on trying to do some big races and travel over the next couple of years. But I tell you, getting off the plane, walking through the Houston airport, and walking outside. It's 11 o'clock at night. My partner Hannah's picking me up, and it feels like low 90s and 100% humidity. That was
Yeah.
that was the biggest shock to me.
Yeah.
You know.
I bet.
Coming from these places that have nice cool nights and
Yeah.
very low humidity, I was like, Jesus. Oof.
Uh, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Houston's Houston's miserable anyways, but I can't imagine I
So,
can't
Yeah.
imagine coming from good weather.
how many
Yeah.
people started the Silk Road race
um
with you?
I think it was I think maybe 300 signed up, and maybe somewhere under that 250 to 300 started the race. And then I want to say 140 may have finished, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
And
imagine the attrition rate is super high.
yeah. And this year was particularly hard. So Nelson changes up the route every so often. He added
Mhm.
that 30K hike a bike into this one, and we went through some new regions that he hadn't quite done before. So it was kind of like almost a brand new race. I think maybe 700 K were new trails.
But was this your first time doing it?
Yeah, yeah, this is my first time
Okay.
doing it. Hmm.
Okay.
is it like
Will you go back?
Yeah,
Sorry, Kevin.
yeah, yeah. I'll definitely go back. What'd you say, Kevin?
is it a mass start for the 300 people all at once, or do they
Yeah.
send people out in groups, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a mass start. So the organizers get with whatever sit, like in this case, Osh, and we had a police escort for the first like 30K or so out of town into the first little mountain region.
Do you end up riding with the same people day after day, or it's a solo thing after a day and a half, and everybody's what's that look like for the
Yeah,
group?
I think it's so different for each person. Sometimes like for the Morocco race I did earlier this year. There was another single speeder, Alex Kowalski, out there. He's
Mhm.
in Arkansas. He won
Mhm.
Tour Divide 2 years ago, I think. He and I tried to drop each other as best we could, but we just couldn't. So we ended up riding together. Um, for Silk Road, uh, I rode with a few people in the beginning, and as soon as mechanical started happening, I that's when I really started to yo-yo, because I'd like Daniel, the guy who won the single speed cat. Uh, the first 2 days I was sick. I had some altitude sickness, so I was riding for 2 hours, sleeping for 2 hours. Um, Went out really hot the first night and passed all the single speeders, and then that next day, all of them passed me back. Um, and then I think I passed them after that. Uh, and then I had a bunch of flats after the hike a bike. They all passed me. And then I ended up riding straight through the night to CP2, I think it was, and caught up to Daniel at the front. And then from there, the flats just took over, and he and this other guy, Shonder, ended up passing me. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't ride with too many people consecutively. You might ride with somebody for a day, you make best friends, and then at the end you'd party together.
Yeah.
Sure.
So after the neutral rollout for 30K, does everybody just kind of chill out and settle into their own pace, or is there people that take off and sprint on a race like that? Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, this year we had this guy named Robin who he won Tour Divide this year, and he's
Mm-hmm.
just I think he's Swiss, and he is
Mm-hmm.
just fast as hell. Um,
Yeah.
I think he finished in under 8 days, something like that, or
Jeez.
maybe about 7 days. Um, but yeah, the race. So it's a 6 p.m. start, which kind of throws some people off, uh,
Yeah.
and you've got to make that decision. Do you ride through the night, or do you go from 6 to midnight, sleep for a little bit, and then start again fresh in the morning?
Right.
Um, so a lot of people are going out hot because they're just all the nerves are going. You've got tons of people around you, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did. And I tend to have that coming from XC racing. I
Mm-hmm.
have that like as soon as I'm out there, I'm just like raring to go. Um, Also, like I said, I had some altitude sickness from touring the week
Mm-hmm.
before, so I was on some pretty decent painkillers and nausea medicine that just allowed me to ride until about 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah. And then did you bed down at 2 or 3 a.m.?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I made it to. They have a national forest that you get into, and I had toured up to CP1 a week before with my one of my companions, and
Mm-hmm.
ended up sleeping on a bridge for a couple hours. Woke up, ate a Snickers, had some water, started climbing my first mountain, and just lost my lunch. And from
Oh,
there, I was like, "This day is going to be a sick day. I'm going to try and go as easy as possible." Um, so yeah, I ended up throwing up a number of times that day and sleeping, shit, I don't know, like 10 or 12 hours periodically.
that is no fun on a single speed. There's no way to just go easy on a single speed.
Yeah.
That's a problem with that situation.
So
Yeah.
what is your, sleep setup
Yeah.
for a race like that?
Sleep setup was pretty simple. Just a bivy, a 0 degree bag, and a little like sheet, like a liner, for the sleeping
Mhm.
bag. And really, the liner, I think it may add a degree or two of extra
Yeah,
warmth. But really, it's just when I put my dirty body in something, I don't want to just put it directly into my bag.
yeah.
Um, and that was
What
it.
about a pillow? No
No,
pillow?
no pillow. Sometimes I'd use my shoes or my helmet or something, but yeah, and no sleeping pad. I brought a sleeping pad during the tour, but not during racing.
Yeah.
A lot of people did, and I hindsight, would it have changed my race at all? I don't really know, but there was one morning, I think it was after CP2, uh, I slept uh, probably 5 or 6 hours, woke up 5, 6 a.m., and it was below freezing,
Mm.
probably in the teens, 20s. Yeah, my water hose that hangs off my bike had a nice icicle dripping off of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you talked about
So
all the troubles you had with the flats. What's your air supply?
I brought a pump. Um, yeah, I recently picked a pump this year. It's a Silka hand pump. Didn't have any CO2 because you can't fly with CO2.
yeah.
And I couldn't find any in Kyrgyzstan. So wish I had some. Would have been nice. But luckily this pump, it surprised me. I could seat my tire with that pump, which is pretty sick.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is impressive.
Yeah, shout out Silka. They make a good product there.
They do some good stuff, man. I'm an increasing fan of theirs.
Yeah.
So up until Silk Road, what's the toughest event you've done? Not insinuating that Silk Road was the toughest event, but or maybe it
Yeah.
was, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Silk Road I mean, they're all so different, right? But Silk Road was
Yeah,
definitely up there.
yeah.
One of the toughest, man, maybe Doom. Uh,
Yeah.
Doom holds its weight, I think. For being a shorter ultra race, uh,
Mhm.
Andrew Onormaz just made that thing a beast. Uh, yeah. Aside from that, I did a race in Norway called Bright Midnight,
Mhm.
which was tough in its own right. I think it was like 700 or 800 miles with somewhere in the 70 to 90,000 feet of elevation. But the
Mhm.
tough thing about that was the flats. So being on a single speed, I would hit those flats and just cap out at like 12 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, these geared folks are just passing me at close to 30.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
I
that's
yeah, I'd not sleep during the night so I can try and catch back up to them and beat them up the hills and on the downhills. But then they'd pass me right back on those flats.
mm. So that being said, like, you find, a hilly course more advantageous for you on a single speed?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that Greece race was the perfect race, I think, for single speed.
Yeah, even though it had 200,000 feet of climbing?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Ugh.
when you get to it, you start climbing up a mountain, and as soon as it hits, that like maybe 12-15% grade, a lot
Yeah.
of geared folks are pushing their bikes as well.
Yeah, they're walking as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what does that climb look like? Is it long and sustained? Is it gravel? Is it chunky? Is it smooth? Is it, what are, and I know it's not, everyone's different, but what, for the most part?
Yeah, most of the mountain races are pretty gravelly and rocky. There are a
Yeah.
couple of like sustained road climbs and things like that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think and they kind of vary. I mean, Greece had some really punchy climbs where you're climbing at 5, 6, 7%, and then all of a sudden it jumps up into the teens and 20s, and you're like, well, shit, where did that come
Mm.
from?
Yeah.
Whereas like the race I did, Atlas race in Morocco, there's some, you know, 30, 40, 50 mile climbs that are just like sustained at 5 to 7%. So you can,
Mhm.
as a single speeder, depending on your gear, you can ride that whole thing.
Ugh. It sounds like torture.
Yeah. I
But
mean, you stop and eat a sandwich, every so often, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is wild. So what's on your radar now? Like, where do you go from something like this? You're back in the States. You went to California for a wedding. Your bike's still in pieces, so you got to get that sorted, and then you just hang out and ride your bike for a little bit, or is it on to the next?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm trying to still process this thing, and I've got
Mm-hmm.
a ton of notes that I need to throw together and turn
Mm-hmm.
into something that's readable for other people, um,
Sure.
which I can hopefully get done the next month or so. But yeah, so chatting with Daniel, the guy who he's an American guy that lives in Berlin, single speeder,
Mm-hmm.
cool guy, that won the single speed for Silk. He was like, since you had all these mechanicals, I want a rematch. Um, so
Mm.
so he was talking about Trans Balkan next year. So that's on my radar. Um, Nelson came out with a fourth race. I think it's his final race as well, out in Turkey. I think it's going to be in October next year. So that's on
Yeah.
the radar. That'll probably be about that within that 1,000 mile distance kind of thing.
Is that kind of your sweet spot? Is that what you've grown to love? Is that 800 to 1,000 mile distance, or what what puts something on the map for you, as far as, does it have to be in another country? Does it have to have 100,000 feet of climbing, or does I mean, I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. No, the elevation is definitely something I look at for potential races to do. If
Mhm.
something's like I love East Texas Showdown
Mhm.
here in East Texas, and it's
Yeah.
400 miles with 28,000 feet of elevation.
Mhm.
Um, and Yeah, it's a fun race and everything, but I like
Mhm.
a little bit longer and a lot more climbing. So
Yeah.
something like Doom in the States is really appealing. One reason I
Mhm.
haven't really considered Tour Divide yet, it's such a long race, but it's not a lot of elevation. You're doing a lot of flat stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas like Colorado Trail or AZT, those are definitely on my list because the elevation profile.
Yeah. I rode a portion of Colorado Trail last month, and it's was surprising to me how much
Yeah.
elevation there was just on the little portion that we did. We did 22 miles, and it was like 4,200 feet of climbing, and that
Oof.
was
Yeah.
that was day one. Uh, I was like,
Oh, that's
oh
awesome.
yeah,
Were you
it was.
geared for that or single speed?
Yeah, I was geared. I was
Okay.
geared.
Yeah.
Um, it was a good day though. It was gorgeous, but it took way longer than I would have thought 22 miles would take, you know?
Yeah.
So,
It's always so demoralizing, isn't it? When you're like, "Oh yeah, I've
yeah.
got 30 miles to do today. I easy." And then it
Oh,
takes
yeah.
you, 18
6
hours.
hours. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
since you're
crazy.
so attracted to the mountainous stuff, is Houston the right base of operations for you going forward?
I tell you, that's something I've been working on too. I over the last, I think I've been in my house for the last 10 years now, and I've gotten really rooted in Houston.
Mhm.
Got a good community. Obviously, I've got my house here and my animals. Um, but about 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of my life kind of changed, and now I'm like, all right, how do I find a place that I feel comfortable living in and has, the bike stuff that I want? Um,
Mhm.
a couple of places in the States that I've had in mind, but after going abroad, I'm like, there's just so much more accessibility there. You can, if you live in Berlin, you can pop on a train and head to the Alps if you want to.
Mhm.
Or
That's what I was that's what I was gonna ask you earlier. You said when you were hubbed out of Copenhagen and it was easy for you to get to Switzerland and you named all these places. I was wondering if you were using public transport or if you were just riding into all those different places while you were hubbed out of there.
yeah, I did a mix.
Uh-huh.
From Greece, I went to Italy and cycled all the way across Italy, from
Mhm.
east to west, and then from Naples up to Pisa, and then kind of took trains intermittently into like France and Spain, but still doing a lot of riding. Um, From Switzerland, I took a train all the way across Germany because Germany's certain parts of Germany are really boring to ride across. So I was like, just
Yeah.
just take a train up north. Um, but I did ride from Copenhagen into Berlin. Um, Lots of farmland, not a lot of elevation from that,
Mhm.
but it's cool that you have the opportunity to have a mix of transport. I can ride my bike
Yeah.
from one city to another if there's some cool features in between, and then from that next city, pop on a train and go to the next. And it's relatively inexpensive and bike accessible.
Was this all solo?
I did a good portion solo. I think the first month I was out there, did the race, traveled solo, and then I met my partner Hannah in Spain. She was doing a race called El Piri.
Uh-huh.
So I took a few weeks to cycle over to her, and then she and I traveled for about a month, um, up through Italy into Switzerland, Copenhagen, Norway, and she flew out of London. Um, so spent the next month. Another friend, Abby, came into town from California. She and I cycled for like 2 weeks together. Um, and then spent the remainder of my time in Berlin, which was a very flat city as well. But it's fun just touring around the city and checking out all the historic monuments and things. Cool people there
It,
too.
it just sounds like a dream. Like
Honestly, it
how
feels like
hard
a
it
dream.
yeah, how hard is it to manage all the logistics of that? Like, okay, today we're gonna go from here to here. Do you just take it day by day? I would imagine.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
just like my style of racing,
Uh-huh.
with minimal prep, it may be to my detriment, but I found it to be a lot more fun that way. Um,
It seems like it's worked out pretty
yeah,
well so far.
yeah, it worked out in Europe really well. Also, the public transit there is so great that you can do that. Doing that in the States probably wouldn't be quite as easy because you've got to do bus logistics. We don't have a lot of trains here that go to
Yeah.
different places. So, um, yeah,
S-
yeah, I mostly had it based on the races that I was doing.
Yeah.
So, be in Greece for this race at this time, be in Norway at this time for this race, be in Italy for this event at this time, and that was about it.
Well, when you're doing all your touring, are you sleeping in the bivvy, or are you doing hostels or hotels or a mix, or
Yeah,
what's the
I did for the first month, 2 months, I mostly bivvied.
Yeah.
When I toured along the Italian coast and the French coast, uh, they have beautiful beaches there. So you just
Yeah.
throw that bivvy on some sand and snuggle right in.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And
Are you multilingual?
I wish. I studied French in college for 3 years, so it allows me to get by a little bit. But cool thing is, most everybody looks at you and they're like, Australian or American? You say, American. They're like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll speak English to you then.
I imagine you speak a little Spanglish too, living in Houston.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
touch. Yeah. So, and I didn't spend too much time in Spain. I was only there for, like less than a week.
Well, they speak
That
Cotillion anyways. It's a lot different than the
yeah.
the Spanish that's spoken in Houston.
Yeah, that in the Catalonia regions, they have this Catalonian is sort of a mix of like a Spanish French hybrid,
Yeah.
um, which is kind of interesting.
Well, what about safety? Did you ever feel like safety was a concern? You're going through you're crossing a lot of borders, you know, you're you're in and out of different countries and you're using a lot of different public transport and you're solo and you're moving through rural areas and sleeping remote and stuff like that. Was safety ever really a concern?
Man, that's a great question. My mom was so concerned with safety
Yeah.
initially, um, but I mean, I think the only time that I felt kind of sketched out was my first night in Europe. I was in Athens, and I didn't book a place because that's just not really me. So
Right.
I found this park that seemed relatively empty. Threw my bivy up and snuggled in there. Woke up and there were just tons of people around me, also sleeping. Uh,
Mhm.
that was about the only time I felt a little sketched. Um, but yeah, I mean, the
Were
world
you
is not
sketched
as.
were you sketched for your personal safety or that someone was gonna steal your bike while you were sleeping?
I was thinking more the bike. I kept my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more worried about my bike than I think my body, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used my tire as a pillow, so
Mm.
uh, it's sort of my safety mechanism. But
Yeah.
yeah, everywhere else in Europe, I felt totally safe. It's pretty bizarre. I was expecting, with the news and the rhetoric that we have coming out of the States, I was expecting to be a little more nervous or cautious, but really didn't have a need to.
Yeah.
And then Kyrgyzstan uh, did not feel unsafe at all, ever.
Yeah.
They have the friendliest people live there. I mean, like I said, I had a number of flats. Anytime I was on the side of the road fixing a flat, there would be a farmer or a sheep herder or something come over and just like sit in the grass next to me and try and help me fix my flat.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, the kindness over there is top notch. And these people, especially the sheep herders and shepherds out there, they don't have a lot, but they're
Yeah.
willing to give you everything they have.
Yeah. We should all aspire to be more like that.
Absolutely.
So
So
after
where do you Yeah, go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
it's all right. After all these adventures on the bike and your setup, anything that you're like, I'm going to do it differently going forward, or anything you would change, or is it all status quo and you're pretty happy with it?
I'm really happy with my Chumba and the setup. Um, my bags. I love how big they are. They fit everything I need. I think the one thing I might change, and I might get some. This might be a hot take. I would put inserts in my tires.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, Vittoria makes super light inserts now.
Oh, do they?
So,
All right, I'll have to check
yeah,
those out.
I think I want to say they're somewhere in the nature of like 60 grams per tire.
I
Huh.
know
So
where
it's
there's an
like,
insert just laying in the ground.
I know where one, I know where roughly where one is at LBJ
Yeah.
Grasslands.
All
So,
right. All right. You guys drop me a pin. I'll roll over there.
uh, yeah, I don't think weight's as big of a detriment as it used to be when it comes to inserts. So,
Mm-hmm.
I, especially like, I mean, obviously, if you could go back and retroactively add inserts before Silk Road, it would have saved you. I mean, even if it would have only saved you 12 hours,
Oh.
it would have saved you headaches and heartache, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Completely
So,
worth it, I think.
yeah, I think that's a good take. I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it's,
Everything else on my bike is I think dialed in pretty well.
mm-hmm,
Love the handlebars. I've got some wide doom bar. I think they're like 810 mil or something like that. Tie
yeah,
bars. No hand
uh-huh.
numbness. Um, yeah. Yeah. I
Do you
might
run
change
any kind
my.
of, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I
I was
was
gonna
just going to
say
ask, yeah,
I might change my dynamo hub
yeah,
to a Sun because
yeah.
I've heard Sun is super durable.
Oh, ridiculous. I was going to say, and this is anecdotal, but it was also years and years ago. I went through two different shutter precision hubs. So had to rebuild a wheel and then put it in work, and then it was working until it wasn't, and then ended up switching again, and it was just finally I went to a Sun, and I've not looked back. It's it has a lot less drag,
Oh,
and when it's off, it's off. Like shutter precision has drag even when it's off, you know.
interesting.
So
All right,
I think it's just a better system, and it's made in Germany, so it's quality.
that's fair. Yep.
So um, and then but what on your bar setup like? Are you running any kind of like togs or SQ Lab like horns or any kind of thing for alternate hand positions?
Yeah, I just have the Ergon King Creek Ergon bar ends. Those
Uh-huh.
kind of rubbery
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love those.
Okay.
I can have probably three, maybe four different hand positions with that, if you
Sure.
get creative with it. Um,
Yeah.
and then I run the Fat Paw Wolf Tooth grips.
Yeah.
I think it's like 9 mil or something like that. Lots of
Yeah.
cushion.
Yeah.
Um, and then the tie bars, I think they have enough flex, but I still feel more confident than like uh, carbon bar or something like that on there. 'Cause I used to
Yeah.
run carbon handlebars, and I fall too often to be responsible for carbon.
That makes sense. I mean, and carbon fails catastrophically where titanium is just going to scratch and
Yeah.
maybe have a dent. Yeah. So that makes sense. And you run a suspension fork?
Yeah, yeah, I've got a
Okay.
what do I have on here? Sid Ultipro. So
Yeah.
it's 120 mil.
I was just making sure you weren't a complete masochist.
I was up until this year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, on the Karate Monkey, I went full rigid. Raced high country on full rigid, and did a ton of XC last year and the year before.
Yeah.
And then Hannah got a new sponsor. She got sponsored by Cane Creek, so she's like, "Yeah, I can't use this anymore. Uh, Give it a shot." So it's been
Eh,
quite nice to have.
So, so what does the future look like for you, Eric? The immediate and maybe, you know, what's long-term and short-term
He's just
goals?
taking it day by day. Haven't you been
That's
listening?
that's true. He probably doesn't even know what he's going to have for lunch yet.
Y'all know Gary over at the shop, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did.
we're, I think
I just rode with him.
Oh, you were on that, on the Hut to Hut, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he was telling me all about that the other day.
yeah.
Sounded like a good trip.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I think he and
good
I are gonna
times.
go get some lunch here, and then, after that, I'm gonna head over to, Austin for the evening, and,
Mhm.
after that, we're going to New Mexico to Angel Fire. We do an annual downhill trip over there.
Very cool.
Yep, so be there for the weekend. Um, as far as shortish long term, man, I have no clue. I've got the couple of races I mentioned, Transbalkan, uh, the Turkey race, which I forgot what Nelson called it, uh, and
These are all
then
2026, right?
26, yeah, summer
Yeah.
2026. There's also a race called Alps Divide.
Mhm.
Uh, that I'm considering because I recently heard that they're not going to be continuing that race. So I'd love to get the single speed out there and try and complete that one next year too.
And
As
and you
far
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, as far as the end of this year, the only thing that I might do if Patrick over at Bikes of Death will let me in is the West Texas Showdown.
Mm,
I'm sure he'll let you in.
I
Yeah,
bet.
I'll have to give him a call.
Yeah. But you mentioned Tour Divide, so that's not even a consideration, not even on your radar?
Yeah, I'd love to do Tour Divide in maybe 27 or 28.
Yeah,
To in really the whole Triple Crown, because I think I'd just try and knock them all out at the same time.
yeah,
Uh, but it's one of those races that I feel is going to be around for a while.
yeah,
Um, and ton of people have done it on single speed. I mean, Andrew Onerma just nearly crushed the record last year or this year.
yeah.
Um, so I'd like to build up my strength and see if I can race that competitively in a couple of
Mhm.
years.
Do you know what
I've
gear he was running?
I don't. I'll have to ask him. Um,
Yeah.
I
I
would
was just
imagine it
curious if you
was
knew off.
no. I know Alexandra Houchin has done it on a 2-to-1. I think like
Yeah,
22-16 or 32-16
yeah,
um,
I think you're right.
in previous years, which I think would be a decent gear
Mhm.
considering all the flats.
Yeah.
How old are you now, Eric?
I'm getting up there now. I'm 37.
Oh, all right. Well, I
It's-
mean, I've heard people say that the only people that do Tour Divide are old white guys with gray beards. So you've
See,
got
that's what I'm
Yeah,
plenty of
going
time.
for. Yeah,
yeah,
I've got a little bit of gray coming in my beard now, so I figure by 40, it'll definitely be a lot more salt and pepper than it is.
yeah. I think 40 plus is good. I think wait until you're in your 40s and then go do Tour Divide.
Yeah, and there's just so many
Mm,
cool races around the world right now, and with ultra cycling becoming more popular, year over
yeah,
year, uh,
yeah,
these races are just getting more intense, more remote, and more interesting. You know,
yeah,
like Bright Midnight that I did in Norway. It's a relatively new race that Justinus puts on, and it was such an interesting route. Although I hated all the flats just because of my gearing,
yeah,
and if I did it again, I'd probably put a harder gear and maybe use a gravel bike, um, or at least like a skinnier tire bike. But
yeah,
I mean, where he takes you, it's these places so remote and so beautiful that you're in awe at every turn, which I just can't get enough of.
yeah. I mean, God, I can't even imagine just going to all the places you've been going to. Like, where's the most surprising place you've been? Like, where you're like, thought it was going to be a shithole and it wasn't, or thought it was going to be amazing and it turned out to be a shithole, or
Yeah.
thought the food was, thought the food was going to suck and it was amazing, or vice versa, or whatever.
Yeah. I honestly, there are so many places that come to mind. Greece is one of them. I did not
Mm-hmm.
expect to love Greece as much as I did, but when people ask, if you could live in any European country, which one it would be, and it's
Yeah.
it's Greece. I live,
Yeah.
somewhere along the West Coast. Um,
Mhm.
it was the people there are incredible. Again, same thing when I was racing. People were like, "Hey, it's midnight. You want to come in, get some food, and sleep?" You're just like, "Yeah, absolutely." You don't
Yeah.
know me, but you're willing to bring me into your home and feed me.
Yeah.
Uh, and then just the landscape there is incredible. Uh,
Oh, yeah. It's gorgeous.
So is
yeah,
that the type of situation where they know a race is going on, so they're not surprised to see you, or it's just that's the way they are with everybody all the time?
I think that's just the way they are. There was this one town I think me and two other riders rolled into, and we were just, taking a little break, stretching our legs and eating some food. And this guy from his, second story was looking at us and he's like, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, "Oh, we're just, relaxing. We're doing this bike race." And he's like, "Come up here. I've got some pasta. Come eat." And we went up there and had some schnapps and some pasta with them, and it was just he had no clue the race was going on. So we showed him the tracker and we are like, "Yeah, there are 6 people that are going to be here in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes." And he's like, "Cool, I'm going to wait for them too." So guaranteed next year this guy's going to be looking out for us. But
That's very
That's
cool.
that is awesome.
yeah, and same with Kyrgyzstan. I've heard stories about how great the people are, but until you experience the hospitality, it yeah, it's hard to imagine. um there were so many times that I'm sitting on the side of the road with a mechanical. Somebody's willing to drive me to the next town, or bring me into their house and let me sleep in their cottage or their yurt or whatever for the night, because like I said, it gets below freezing there, and they've just got this little 15 by 15-foot house that they live in. It's got a stove, and they get their water from the river next door, and they're willing to give you as much, whatever food they have, water, sodas, and a nice warm bed to sleep in, without asking it for money or questions or anything.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
God.
it's it surprised me at how sweet and kind the world can be, um, despite hearing whatever you hear on the
Yeah.
news or wherever else. Like,
Yeah.
there are genuinely good people out in this world.
That's that's a great main takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame that that's a contrast to what we anticipate because of where we live.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. But I feel like it's the same here in the South, at least.
mhm.
You know, and maybe it depends on who you are, what you look like, or whatever. But I've been in races and situations where uh, I'm in need of some water, and somebody's like, "Yeah, come on, I've got some fresh
Yeah.
water. Grab some ice. Do you want a
Yeah.
sandwich? Here."
I'm a firm believer in you get back what you put out. So if you exude kindness and generosity, you tend to receive it. I don't know how to articulate it better, but
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
I'm with you there.
yeah.
I This summer I've kind of had this philosophy of resonation. If you resonate high as an individual, you get that
Mhm.
same resonation back to you. So if
Yeah.
you're positive energy, kind to everybody, or as many people as you can be, and try and give what you can,
Mhm.
that all comes back to you in one form or another.
I firmly believe that.
Hmm.
Well, I think that's a pretty good note to go ahead and wrap this up. Usually
Yeah.
Bradford and myself ramble on for a couple hours at a time, but we're not gonna put you through that. We'll wrap it up here in just a second, be under 90 minutes. Anything specific that we didn't cover that you wanted to touch on, or any shout outs that you wanted to make sure to throw into the mix, Eric?
I just want to say I'm so thankful to friends, family, and my sponsors for helping me throughout the summer. I had so many friends throw, you know, $20 or whatever on my Venmo and be like, "Hey, go get yourself some soup and a coffee, or
Yeah.
find a warm bed to sleep in tonight, or whatever." Um, so really thankful for that. And then sponsors. Old Man Mountain has been awesome to me this year. with just gear and help me out financially. Race ready for throwing my bike together in the very last minute. And Chumba, I mean, my partner Hannah worked there and she cut all the tubes for this bike, and Mark was over there welding it all together just in the nick of time. So super appreciative of that.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's been a hell
Well,
of a
Eric,
ride.
it was a pleasure meeting you virtually, and getting to know you a little bit. I look forward to following your adventures and maybe one day having a conversation with you in person and even riding a bike, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin
So,
and I, before you got on, were chatting about coming up to. So my partner's family lives in Bedford, so
oh, okay.
yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
Dallas every so often, or the
Yeah,
DFW area.
definitely give
Yeah.
us a heads up when y'all are heading this way, and we'll put something together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to
It
hit some
should be fun.
trails.
Oh, I can show you around.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, let's do the wrap up here.
We should take him to Cross Timbers.
Oh
He likes
yeah,
elevation.
He would love cross timbers.
let's go.
Well, be safe, brother, in all your travels, and keep exuding your personality and getting back what you reap. You'll be just fine.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for taking the time. It's great.
Thanks for
Mm,
joining us.
And Shannon, thanks for setting this up.
yeah,
Definitely, Shannon. We it would be a much less great world without
Oh,
Shannon. There's
that is
no
yeah.
so
ifs,
true.
ands, or buts about that. Thank
Yep.
you, Mr. Clean. All right, Brad, roll us out.
Go ride your bike.
Ba-da-da-da-da-dum.
I can't